Good morning, everyone. Excuse my hoarse voice this morning. I just wanted to come on and do a short or shortish kind of video. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Hold, please. And I want to talk about mark making tools. I'm involved in a project that it's called Stitch Camp, and all I'm going to talk about is things you can make marks with, because in the group I noticed a lot of people are that are beginners are a little tentative. Good morning, Teresa. About if they don't have the same tools as the instructor, or everybody else has these tools, everybody else has those tools. Stop it. Stop it right now. Anything will make a mark, or anything will make a mark. And let's go through. This is my bin of stuff. And this is just stuff I have gathered over years of different things to make marks with. And we're just going to go through them real quick. I'm going to start with the smaller stuff I've pulled aside. And I forgot to turn the autofocus off. So I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pen if you want to take some notes of other items that you can make marks with, okay? And think outside the box a little bit, because, you don't have to have exactly what everybody else has to make marks, all right? And I'm not going to show you how to make the marks with them, because I feel like you can figure that out on your own just by maneuvering and manipulating the whatever item you have. So let's go through some things. Do you have plastic cutlery? A fork will make 4 different marks for you. You can draw straight lines. You can draw curvy lines. You could flip it over and do dots like that. You could use the back of the fork and make a fatter mark. Spoons the same way. You could set that in the paint and then rock it back and forth and make little ovals. You could use the edge of it to paint with like that. Same with the back. So that's plastic cutlery. Lids off stuff. This is the lid off, I don't know what, but lids come in all different sizes. You could put paint on the edge and roll it, and you'd have lines like that. You could roll it along. You could dip it this way. You could do it this way. A lid is another option. The inside of your Scotch tape, you get a double circle with that. You can use it straight up and down. You can put it down and then slide it across and lift it up. I saw a lady doing that on her gel plate, and I've saved it to my gel plate printing board on Pinterest, because she was putting it on her gel plate, sliding it across, lifting it up. So you get like a smear and then the double circle. It looked really cool. And masking tape, cardboard, the more you use it, the thicker this gets, because the paint will stay on there. I'm not real good about cleaning this stuff. This is just my bin of stuff, okay? PVC pipe. It comes in all different sizes. If your husband doesn't have a couple pieces laying around, you can buy just the segments where you put 2 pipes together. And again, the more you use it, the weirder the line gets. Let's see. Next, you can get all of these things to manipulate. This is a cake decorator. Go to your cake decorating section and look at everything cake decorators have in their arsenal, because this will make it's got pointy parts like that, and then on this side it's got curvy bits, and depending when you dip it in your paint, it'll pick up paint at different areas, and then you can scrape it across. You could use the end here, and you could do lines like this, or you could scrape with it. This is another tool, and it says it's from Plaid Decorating. So I guess this is a tool you would use to paint your walls, to put different texture on. And the little nibs, that one's the widest one. Then you go a little bit narrower, and then this one's kind of pointy. So you get 3 options on that one. Then in the fine art section, they have these things. And these are good if you're making texture paste. I got this at Hobby Lobby on clearance. It's got like a little castle things. So if you wanted to set it down like this, you'd just get a row of little lines. But you could also dip it in and then scrape it, and you'd have like rainbow. So if you were real careful how you applied the paint on there, you could actually do a rainbow with this. Just go like that. All right. Then visit the nail department. Okay. This gives you a cuticle pusher and a little diggy pointy thing. So you get a pointy end, and then you get this thing here. And it's flat, and it makes the coolest looking little ovals. So visit nail section at the dollar store. You can find these. Visit other areas of the dollar store, because in the kitchen area, you'll find stuff, in the beauty place, all around. You can use a fan brush. You can pick up paint and splatter. You can pick up paint and make little, what I call palm florins. You could take it and make marks like that. So that's an option. Now this came out of the Parmesan cheese. And I thought how cool it would be to have a circle of broken lines. So it's even got Parmesan cheese still in it, because I did not take the the time to clean it. I just grabbed this and threw it in my bin of stuff. So you've got all these little broken lines. So look at your food containers and look at the shaker tops. You could do something with that too. If I dipped that in the paint and then came over, I'd end up with the flat surface printing and the negative space in the holes. So I'm going to add that to my plate of stuff. Because I'm working on fabric, I do have separate fabric paintbrushes. They are much stiffer than a regular paintbrush, but a regular paintbrush would work on fabric as well. All right. And then the last thing I have that I'm actually going to use in my project I'm going to do for Stitch Camp, I have these oil-based paint pens that I got a while ago. And these have a thick tip, if I remember right, a thick tip and a thin tip. That one's a little thicker, but some of them are different than that. Let's see. See, that has a real wide nib on it. So your markers will make marks. Okay, now let's get back to food packaging. When you open oatmeal, you always have that plastic thing that peels off. Well, I took one of those and I cut the strip piece away. And then I took all my little handheld punches like this here and just go around as far as it'll go in. See, I went as far as it would go in and then work my way back. So I have like this wreath of different shapes. And this is good as a stencil. Take a sponge, pick your paint up, use it as a stencil. Use tools you already have to make things too, out of old credit cards, old gift cards, that kind of thing. All right, for the rest of this, I'm just going to go through my bin and tell you what I got them. All right, this is a heart-shaped placemat that I got Hobby Lobby after Valentine's Day, thinking I could use this on my gel plate. Which, if you're doing gel plate printing, don't forget to look at the seasonal rubbery type placemats. They always go on clearance after the holiday, and you can pick up some really cool shapes. I have seen these during the summertime in like seaweed or coral shaped stuff. And this one, when I put it down on the gel plate, it makes all these roses, and it's really fun to play with. So watch your clearance aisles after the season is over. You get a package in the mail. Oh my gosh, that is like a huge opportunity because you get sometimes this funky cardboard, and you can dip this in paint and you get these neat lines. You get bubble wrap in small and in large and in medium. And I saw somebody had it in heart-shaped bubble wrap. I have been keeping my eye open for some of that heart-shaped bubble wrap because I thought it was so cool. So pay attention to the packaging on things that are coming into your house. These were something I got at the dollar store. These are those circles of, I don't know what it is, but they're actually jar openers, because you can put this over a lid. Like, say this is on the jar, you can put it on there and it gives you gripper control. But to make your marks, this makes a cool mark, whether you're using gel plate or if you're just dipping it in paint and putting it down. You get all these delightful little squares. And as you can see, I do not take the time to wash these, because what's really cool is if you get wet paint on here, sometimes it'll pick up some of this older paint. So you get these like grungy pops of other color. So I don't worry about cleaning them. I got this on clearance at Hobby Lobby. It's one of those paint rollers in a pattern. Always look at the clearance. You just never know what you'll find in clearance. I found that in the clearance. This says, life is an awesome adventure. I haven't used it yet, but again, it was clearance. And these are fun on your gel plate. The only thing is that when you use these and you stamp them down, it's great. But if you're going to use that paper later and you tear it up and use it, sometimes however you use it could end up with the lettering backwards. Let's get back in here. All right. Back in the kitchen department, you can find the pot holders that look like this. And you can take them and chop them up into varying shapes. So you get different little sections of stuff like this. Silicone, and you can see how that's got that ooey gooey gold paint, and it's already coming loose, and that'll come off on a project and it'll look so cool. Okay, so that's the silicone hot pad type things. All right, this was also in the baking department. Let me find the other one. There's another one in here somewhere. But this is a cookie press handle, and it came with 1, 2. There's another one in here. It came with 3 things I can switch out. I know there's a third one in here. I just don't know where it got to. But check that baking department. These are silicone too. They peel off. You put the next one on. These I also got at clearance at Walmart, I think for like 75 cents for the whole set. So let's see what else. More foam stamps I got on clearance at Hobby Lobby. Foam stamps, foam stamps. Here's another catalyst that I got on clearance. It's got different shaped marks. I'm going to put that on my tray for my project. Let's see. Lace. Lace is fun to use on like a gel plate. Or if you're using a piece of glass, like a glass cutting board, you can use it just like a gel plate. You'll get a different texture than you will on the gel plate, because this is not going to kind of press down into the gel plate with the print. It'll just kind of pick paint up off the glass. So lace, we've got more foam stamps. And then you remember we mentioned jar lids. So there's a jar lid. Got the lid off the glue, makes a smaller circle. That's a different kind of tape insert. Got a couple of those. Tape insert, tape insert, tape insert. A boo foam stamp. Here's the other cookie press thing here. Then this was part of packaging, and I thought it looked like a cupcake. So Scott brought it to me. He said, can you use this? You've got to train your husbands. If you get your husbands trained, they can find things that are pressed out of packaging where they work that normally would go in the trash. And this was part of something, I think, of spinal stimulator packaging. And Scott brought it home to me and said, this looked kind of like a cupcake. And I said, it does. So good morning, Janet Nash and Kellyanne. I'm going through my bin o stuff on mark making. Now you're going to walk over to the yarn section at any store and go to the plastic canvas, because this makes a cool texture too. And you can dip this in the paint and then put it down, or you can take a makeup sponge or another sponge and just kind of dab the paint on so you don't get quite so much paint, because when you dip in the paint, the holes will fill up, and you don't really want that. You want to sponge it onto this hard stuff so it doesn't fill up the holes. So when you turn and print it, it makes the little grid. All right. All right. Now we're going to go to the beach section, and we're going to get flip-flops, because the bottoms of the flip-flops all have different patterns. This was a pair of kids' flip-flops. You can see I wanted just a square of one, so I chopped that out with an X-Acto knife. So that was the little kids section. Now these, I know for a fact, go on clearance after the whole beach thing is over and they're starting to move on to like Labor Day decorations. You can find flip-flops sometimes for 25 cents a pair. This piece right here is a piece of vinyl I just found at Dollar Tree. If you want a background to display things on, check your Dollar Tree, because they got this one. I picked up two. My Dollar Tree has expanded the craft section so much. And then I picked this one up, but they also have other ones. And all it is a sheet of wallpaper vinyl. And it's by Main Street Wall Creations, Peel and Stick. But I thought, why stick it to anything? Just leave it like this. And if I want to display something or take a nice picture, I just pick that up. And of course, that was $1.25. All right. So flip-flops. Has your yoga mat wore out? Are you ready for a new one? Go ahead and wipe it down with disinfectant and start chopping it up, because you can take hard cardboard and you can chop your yoga mat up and glue it down. That's what these are made out of, is an old yoga mat. There's another one of the little cupcake things I haven't used yet. Another foam stamp I got on clearance. Always check that clearance for the foam stamp. I got a ghosty. I got an arrow. I got more PVC pipe. Oh, don't forget, also at the beauty side, you can get curlers sometimes. And these were in a huge set, and I have given away a bunch of these already. I got one stuck inside the other. But look at all the different size circles you get just with curlers. So watch your clearance store for old curlers. They make great, and they fit inside each other to take up less space. Makes a nice thin circle. More jar lids. Got a Pringles lid. This one's got like a lip on it, so you get two different size circles. Another lid, which is larger. I've got another arrow that's a foam stamp. Now you're going to visit your sewing basket, because doesn't that look like it would make a cool print? And you can see I've used both sides. So your empty spools, don't throw them all away. Keep a couple for printmaking. All right. This I got at the dollar store too. It makes 5 little dots. You can dip it in the paint. You can make dots like that. You can wiggle it. You make little lines like that. I might stick that on my plate for what I'm doing. This is Martha Stewart's spreading thingamajig. in different widths. Got that on clearance, I think, at Michael's. I've got my favorite. These are Bondo spreaders. You get these in the hardware department or auto body stuff. This is to spread the stuff that fills the big holes when you have a wreck. You get a pack of like 3 of these for like $3. If you want to do some small dendritic printing, I found these these are glass, but they're coasters. And they're made of the glass, the tempered glass, so they won't break. So you squeeze your paint on there, and you rub them together, and you turn it a little bit so that the corners are off. And then when you pick it up, you get that cool dendritic printing, and then you can plop it down and make a little square of dendritic printing. But always make sure it's a tempered glass. You don't want to use picture frame. People have said you can use picture frame glass. I would not do that. It is not tempered. It can break and cut you bad. Just an FYI. Again, back with the foam stamps. I've got birds. Here's another catalyst that was bought at Hobby Lobby when they were clearing them out for some reason. You can make lines with it. You can scrub with it. There's that. Then Joggles. There's a company called Joggles, and they make these texture plates. These are fun to use on your gel plate printing, but you can also dab your paint on and then put it down, and you'll get a row of bubbles. And I don't think they make this one anymore, but this one was called Bubble Blast. That's what the packaging looks like. And then this one was called Cyclone. There. And this one was called One Ringy Dingy. All right. And this comes on a roll. It's sequin, the negative from Sequins. You can get it as a ribbon. And I send this sometimes in Happy Mail, and you can use it like a stencil. Or you can go down and just use it for texture on a mixed media piece. All right, you've got a rug that's been slipping, and you've had to trim some off from the anti-slip stuff. This makes another cool grid. And again, I don't clean them. I just throw them back in here. This is something Scott brought me. It's a drill gauge guide. He said, maybe you can use this to make circles. I was like, yes, I can. I can use that to make circles. Another inside of a tape ring. Wine corks. They make really cool fat circles. Stick that on my plate. Then you got your old gift cards and things like that you can scrape paint. You can make lines and different links because you got different links on here. So keep your old gift cards. They're good to do stuff with. All right. And then this is kind of a repeat, but it's a different, this is a shelf liner, and you get these smaller squares. I've got textured wallpaper. Tanya sent me all this cool textured wallpaper, and it's fun to play with on the gel plate. And when you get tired of using it on your gel plate, you can use these pieces in your art. So check thrift stores and such for used wallpaper books, and you can pull the pieces out and use these on your gel plate printer. Not everybody has that. You could also sponge paint on here and use it. Just plop it down on your piece. I'm just going to leave these here. Burlap makes a interesting texture. I think in UK you guys call this Haitian. Is that right, Janet? And more shelf liner, but it's in black, and more bubble wrap. All right, so that is my bin of stuff. And I hope you guys were able to write down some of the things that you can use to make marks. I want to encourage you to look in different areas of the dollar store. Go over to the kitchen supply, pick up a couple things there. Go to the beauty supply, pick up a couple things there. Pay attention to the lids that you are pulling off products that are going in the recycling bin. Pay attention to your lids. Don't throw away all your sewing spools or your tape, inside tapes. Look at all these I've got here. This is all from the middle of tapes. Check the clearance for foam stamps. They work great on fabric or paper. There's another lid. Your glue is empty. That makes a nice small circle. Curlers. PVC pipe. Bondo spreaders, my go-to. Make lines, scrape paint. Silicone baking cookie presses. Old yoga mat turned into stamps. You can cut these yoga mats up into anything. You could do like a grid of squares. You could do circles, whatever. You can cut them with scissors. Flip-flops. Plastic canvas. Lace. Lots more foam stamps. Silicone hot pads can be cut up. Your packaging, whether it's the cardboard inserts or the bubble wraps in all the different sizes. Your oatmeal lid like this. Your jar openers, more foam stamps on a roller, and your plastic placemats. So that was just an overview of what I have that I can make marks with. So don't say you don't have anything to make marks with, because you can add marks with just about anything. I would also add Q-tips, chopsticks, skewers, anything like that that's got a pointy end, you can make marks with. And on that note, I'm going to leave you guys so I can start my Stitch Camp project, which I'm not going to share except my finished result, because I feel like you need to go sign up for Stitch Camp. So just look for Stitch Camp. I think Carol posted a link to it. It starts today if you want to join in. All right. Bye, guys.